Good evening, everyone. This is PPR pole position racing. I am Kermit.
And I'm Cosmo.
And we are streaming to you live from North America tonight for some PC Division 1 action. Tonight is race number 5 out of 21 of the season. It's Spain. What we have tonight is Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, 33 laps total. Fastest repeatable lap time, 1 minute 16 seconds, .047. 16 turns, 9 to the right, 7 to the left. Pretty daunting track, wouldn't you say, Cosmo?
Yeah, and there's not a lot of really good passing zones. There's a lot of high-speed corners, which makes it tough to stay behind and get some good passes in. But they'll certainly try and do it anyways.
Yeah, quite a few of those. The hairpins can make it very tricky to pass because you want to be obviously on the apex, or excuse me, on the inside on the apex, but on the outside as you exit. And some side-to-side action going into those can definitely be pretty interesting. So hopefully we'll see some good racing tonight. We'll see what the weather's like once we get into it. Sometimes you get a decent chance of rain in Spain, but we'll see how that goes. Quite a few corners, especially corners 7 and 8. If you go in there fast, easy, very easy to unsettle the car. It's a pretty big runoff area, so typically you're not hitting a wall, but it can get a little dicey at times. So let's go ahead and go through our team and driver wrap-up. So Ferrari is leading the Constructors' Championship with Rogue with a 4th, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd finish this season. Ruta with a DNF last race with a qualifying ban this race because of an incident between himself and Persian King. So we actually have footage of that. We're going to go ahead and play that real quick so we can see why Ruta received a race ban this race. As you can see, he's coming down in between turns 2 and 3. Dragonbone is glitching a little bit, but sends it super wide, not able to fully brake, takes Persian King out. Both of them hit the apex, then Ruta retires on track. So a combination of those two things are the reason that the stewards decided to disqualify him from qualifying this race. So he will be starting at the back. There is also a potential for Gore to be starting at the back. Currently on our penalty sheet, he is listed as having a qualifying ban. But however, one of the decisions was reversed last week, and I'm not sure that was updated. So we'll be watching for those two. Ruta will be starting from the back if he is in lobby tonight. If he is not in lobby tonight, his ban will extend to the next race he is a part of. So next we have Mercedes with his Getchum. He was not with us last week, but his 3rd and 2nd place finishes is enough to keep Mercedes up towards the top. Cream, 6th and 10th, or 6th, 3rd, and 10th. Some really solid showings from him. Still relatively, not relatively, but kind of inconsistent. 10th last week, but Azerbaijan is a tough course. And they had, I believe they let him, stewards marked him down as finishing, even though with the loss of his front wing on the last lap, ended up running into a wall and breaking the wing, or then I guess snapping his axle on the last lap. So I believe they have him marked down as still finishing the race, even though technically last week he did not cross the finish line. Next we have Capita Hood and Persian King on Renault. Capita is over across the sea, across the pond this week, so I don't know if he'll be joining us, but he wasn't able to join us last week either. However, strong finishes from him when he's able to finish. Persian King, very consistent. Of course, got taken out by Ruta last week. Will hopefully be able to make it to the end of the race this week. 8th, 10th, 7th place finishes when he's able to finish. We'll see if he can't get into the top 5 this week. Alfa Romeo, Kubale, of course, placing 1st last week after his 8th and 4th place finishes. Shazam, not able to join us last week or in China, 10th and 15th. We'll see if he's able to join us this week. Racing Point, 3rd. He's not new to Racing Point this week, but he did replace Hammer Time the other week. He got 7th last week, his first showing in the points. Congratulations to him. We'll see if he can't do it again this week. And Gore last week, placing 2nd, getting back up into the points. Getting into the points into the podium There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Up onto the podium for the first time this season. Next, we've got Williams, Dragonbone, pretty consistent in the upper middle pack with 5th, 10th, and 6th place finishes. Red Hornet, consistent as well with 11th, 11th, 14th. Last week was an outlier, 5th place for Red Hornet. Let's see if he can't repeat this week. Red Bull, we have Stoney and Shea B. Stoney not able to join us last week. 9th, 7th, 9th, pretty consistent from himself. And Shea B, consistently upper middle of the pack. 6th is his most common finish. Haas, we've got Sky, Archangel, and Delirious. Delirious not able to join us the past 2 weeks. We'll see if he's able to join us this week. Not able to join us last week. So we'll see if he comes this week, able to place better than 9th potentially. McLaren with a 12th and 4th place finish from Dr. McShorty. All their did not starts and DNFs have put them towards the back of the Constructors' Championship this week. Toro Rosso with a bunch of Muffin Man and Ramrod. Ramrod been showing up pretty consistently after joining the team last week. 12th, 11th place, and his first points finish last week. Congratulations to Ramrod. So, of course, we have our reserves that were not updated. Those were forgotten this week. But anyway, we'll move on to the Drivers' Championship. First place, we have Rogue with 70 points. Then we actually have a tie for second between Capita Hood and Kubele, both with 41 points. We also have a tied for fourth with Cream and Ruda, both tied with 30 points. Gore with 29 points in 6th. Some Idiot, 26 points in 7th. That is just off of his first race win along with the fastest lap. Getchum, 25 points in 8th. Sky Archangel, 22 points in 9th. Dragonbone, 19 points in 10th. Getchum, 25 points in 11th. Sky Archangel, 22 points in 12th. Dragonbone, 19 points in 13th. Shea B, 17 points in 14th. Dr. McShorty, 12 points in 15th. Persian King, 11 points in 16th. Red Hornet and Stoney both tied for 17th. 3rd, 19th. D-Drum, 20th. Delirious and Ramrod both tied for 21st. Shazam with 1 point in 23rd. And the rest of our drivers, including the reserves, Doc Block, Faz, Hammer Time 44, Higgs Boson, Jay Warren, Muffin Man, Racer 33, Sloppy McFloppy, Stunt Riders, and Terror, all bringing up the back with 0 points this week. All right. So, Constructors' Championship, that brings us to Ferrari is in first with an even 100 points. Mercedes, 45 points behind them with 55 points total in second. Renault in third with 52 points. Alfa Romeo in fourth with 42 points. Racing Point in fifth, 35. Williams in sixth with 29. Red Bull in seventh with 27. Haas, 24 total in eighth. McLaren, ninth with 12 points. And Toro Rosso bringing up the back with 2 points. All teams have scored points. The battle between Renault and Mercedes is very close. Racing Point, Williams, Red Bull, Haas, all still relatively close. One race could swing it in either of their favors. Now, this week we have the Hot Lap. Let's go ahead and see what our drivers are going to be up against. Welcome to PPR Hot Laps. This is Kermit, and this week we are in Catalonia, Spain, riding along with Double OT. As he comes around the final turn to set himself up for a long run down the main straight, DRS open. Crosses the start-finish line for a long run down into Turn 1. Turn 1, hitting the brakes just after the 100-meter board, hitting the apex, being careful not to run wide into Turn 2. Turn 3, a very long, open, right-hand hairpin. Setting himself on the exit to the outside to get the maximum speed possible out of that corner into Turn 4, another hairpin, slightly tighter than Turn 3. Again, exit, entrance into Turn 5. Sharper hairpin than Turn 3 or 4. Turn 6, a very open left-hander, full throttle. Slams on the brakes into Turn 7, hits the apex, careful not to unsettle the car into Turn 8 as he runs to the left. Around the corner in Turn 9, an open right hand, hits the DRS on the run, down the straight to Turn 10. Turn 10, another hairpin. A little bit of a lockup, doing well to hit the apex. Turn 11. Turn 12, another hairpin. Turn 13, a right-hander to the right. Turn 14 to 15, the chicane to the left, then to the right. A long sweeping turn out of 16, down the main straight, hits the DRS, and finishes run down to the finish. This has been PPR Hot Laps with Kermit, on board with Double OT, and we'll see you next week. All right, and there you have it. So that is what our drivers are going to be up against this week. As you can see, the turn from 7 into 8, very easy to unsettle the car. Need to hit the line perfectly through there. A lot of the hairpins also very tricky to navigate, especially while racing alongside. So here we are, Circuit de Barcelona, Spain. The softs will last 6 to 9 laps. Mediums will last 13 to 16. Hards will last 19 to 21. Cosmo, what kind of tire strategies do you think we will be looking at this race? Cosmo is currently muted. He needs to unmute himself. There we go.
Thank you.
No problem. Cosmo, what kind of tire strategies do you think we're going to be looking at this race?
If they want to only stop the one time, then mediums and hards is
Sure.
what they're going to have to do. But if they are going to be quick on the softs and they think they're going to be really quick on the softs, then they're going to have to probably stop twice.
Yep, the 16 and 21 laps, adding up, of course, we have 37 laps total, potentially with the mediums and hards, but only 9 laps on those softs. Can make the one-stopper kind of treacherous if you try to do the softs. So we might see some 2-stops. We'll see how the weather looks for the race. Drivers may decide that they need to pit stop more than that, but we will see. So without further ado, we will go ahead and start the race. Qualifying is already in session. We have drivers heading out onto track. Again, this is PPR Season 1, Race 5 in Montenegro, Catalonia, Spain. I said that with an Italian accent. We're in Spain. It's Spanish. On to the race. Here we go.
Dragon Bone has already set a time.
Dragon Bone has already set a time. Look at that speedy guy. All right, let's take a look. No, let's not hide the UI. Come on, come back here. All right. Let's go take a look. So we have 3 times set already. Getchum and a 1:18.5. Dragon Bone with a 1:20.1 in second. Destial, welcome to PPR. I don't believe I've seen him in the past. With a 1:20.4. Persian King with a 1:20.9. And D-Drum in fifth with a 1:22.9. So let's get some of our track map up. Let's get that full track map going. We've got our lap data. That's enabled. We'll get some of our telemetry going. Let's get fitted tires on our details. And we'll take our gap to the leader. Perfect. All right, let's watch some of this exciting qualifying action. Looks like we have a few drivers on the outlap. Some idiot is going to cross the line and start his flying lap. Let's ride along. Down into turn 1, way wide on the entry, which gives him a better exit to turn 1, better entry into turn 2. On the mediums, thinking that he can start hopefully in the top 10 without having to burn a set of softs.
Yeah, he's pretty quick. He might be able to. Especially if everyone else is, or most of the other people are out on mediums.
Yes, some of you will recognize some idiot as our race winner from race 1 on PPR. So we know he is fast and we know he's consistent. We'll see how he's able to do this week. Again, Spain, unlike Azerbaijan of last week, a lot of open space, not so many walls super close to the track.
Yeah, a lot of runoff, which is nice.
Yeah, very nice. We should see a lot of close racing. Drivers a little more apt to pull alongside each other on tracks like this, knowing that they do not have to worry about a wall being immediately alongside the track. Some idiot goes fastest with a 1:18.2. Getchum falling 0.3 behind on his soft set of tires. So as of right now, Getchum is locked into the softs. Unless he drops down to 10th, he will not get an option, or drops down to 10th or sets a faster time with a different compound of tire, he will not get an option to switch tires. Alright, as some idiot heads on his way back in, let's check around the grid. Ramrod is on his second lap with those hard tires. D-Drum goes a little bit faster with a 1:21.8.
Creamy's just entering the third sector here of his hot lap. Should be putting up a time pretty soon. And it looks like Gore's been having some connection issues. He's been in and out of this session a lot. I think that's the second or third time I've seen him leave and join back in. So hopefully he can get that fixed up by the time he starts.
Yep, hopefully he can fix that, and we'll hopefully get on to... Oh, let's adjust that a little bit.
Creamy goes third fastest, 1:19.3.
1:19.3 from Creamy on those medium tires. So right now he's positioned pretty well to start the race on the mediums, immediately behind his teammate Getchum on the soft tires.
And I think the mediums would be a good strategy to start on.
Kublai coming down the start-finish straight goes fourth with a 1:19.4. Sorry, Cosmo, what were you saying about starting time?
I think mediums are probably the tire you want to start on.
Yeah, I think mediums will be able to last deep into the race with the 13 to 16 13 to 16 lap life expectancy. That is decent, especially when compared to the softs. D-Drum goes into the pits. We have Dr. McShorty on his outlap just crossing the start-finish line right now. Starts on his flyer. Rogue is coming down the main straight, ready to set his first time. Let's see where he lands. He's on those soft tires. Rogue goes 7th fastest with a 1:20.0. Little bit of a slide for Dr. McShorty. Coming around that turn 10. Into turn... turned around. There it was. Turn 7. There's turn 8. Now we're coming into turn 9. Hard on the throttle. All the way down to turn 10. 100-meter board. Turning in. Slightly wide of the apex, but still holding it together quite nicely. Into 11th and then the hairpin.
That's a corner too. You can miss the apex a little bit too. You won't be punished too badly.
Yeah, being able to carry your speed through that corner is important, as well as hitting the apex. So yeah, as long as you're able to carry some of your speed, you're not going to get penalized as much as running wide on some other turns. Dr. McShorty goes across the finish line, goes a 1:20.5, goes 11th fastest. Gore just still yet set a time. Ruda with his qualifying ban. Oh, Gore potentially with his qualifying ban as well. He is staying in the pits.
Just about to ask that if he did have one or not. I didn't quite remember if he did or not.
On the original release, he did, and then they knocked down the penalty from the dispute, I believe.
Okay.
I could be wrong. So as of right now, I'm going to take the sheet that was published as law and say that he currently does have a qualifying ban. So our first 2 qualifying bans of the season.
That's rough for those guys. It's early in the season, and we don't want to rack up too many more points because that ends up with race bans and possibly league bans if they get high enough.
Dragamon goes 3rd fastest with a 1:18.4. Destiel 4th fastest with a 1:18.441. Yeah, it still is really early in the season. We're not even a quarter of the way through the season just yet. This kind of marks the quarter waypoint, and even then we're this race is the quarter waypoint. Even then, slightly less than the quarter of the way through with 21 laps total. Definitely pretty early in the season. Dr. McShorty goes 9th fastest with a 1:19.7. Yeah, the drivers have to be careful with picking up those penalty points, because if they get above a certain amount, they can be kicked out of the league. Persian King goes 5th fastest with a 1:19.1 on soft tires.
Yeah, we don't really want to see anyone get kicked out. This is, for fun.
Oh, definitely not. Yeah, we're all here to have fun. We don't want to kick anyone out of the league, and it is up to stewards' discretion. So if someone does consistently keep getting penalty points, the stewards will have to review why those penalty points were given out. If all of them turned out to be dive bombs into corners, dirty racing, things like that, then the stewards may have a case to release someone from the league and pull someone up from reserves. But of course, that's something that we want to avoid if we possibly can. The drivers want to avoid it. The fans want to avoid it.
Right. And I think they could choose to just do a season ban too if they don't see it as being too bad.
That's right. So yeah, they can be banned for the rest of the season potentially. Give them a timeout. Give them some time to practice their laps. Kublai starting his flyer on soft tires. Previously set his time on a medium.
Some idiot just set a fastest lap on a set of softs as well at 1:17.4.
1:17.4, about a second ahead of second place.
So he thinks, I mean, that might be a two-stop. I don't know. One stop here with softs, I would be impressed to see. It's a bold strategy.
That would be impressive. According to the Pirelli tire data, softs can go up to 9 laps and the hards can go up to 21 laps for a total of 30. And this is a 33-lap race. So the tires
and they
can
do 2 or 3 laps for quali if they qualify on them.
That's true. You're not starting at 0% tire deg if you're qualifying on those tires. You are potentially starting at up to 5-6%, maybe 10% if you had a slide during quali. Kublai coming around the final turn down the main straight. We'll see if he can't improve his time. Goes 5th fastest with a 1:18.6.
It looks like everyone's switching to the softs now.
Destiel in chat saying it is a wet race is the...
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, so if you're expecting rain within the first 10 laps of the race, then softs make sense. And even if it starts out raining, I believe it forces you onto the intermediate or wet tire. And it does not matter what tire you qualified on at that point.
Good. It'll be nice to see a wet race. Be the first one of the year. See how these guys do when it gets a little slick out there.
Mikau, thank you for giving us the heads up. We can see the chat as well. So, Destiel on his out lap. Let's see, Red Hornet finally set a time with a 1:19.4 in 10th place. Creamy still on the mediums. I imagine he's going to be wanting to set a soft lap here. I believe he's coming up just behind Destiel on a flyer. Don't think he'll catch up. Destiel has to put the pedal to the metal around the last couple turns here. So if anything, Creamy will get a little bit of a slipstream going down the straight.
Creamy puts it up in a second.
1:18.1. Very nice. A little under a second, about 3/10 under 1 second difference between first and second right now. So about 7/10. So Getchum on his out lap. Destiel has started his flying lap. It's right along.
Little wiggle through there.
Down into the chicane, keeping the car pretty settled. Ooh, running a little bit wide, almost invalidated the lap. Was able to hold it together. Hits the DRS on the way down the straight and goes fastest with a 1:17.4. What a lap.
Wow.
So if some idiot wasn't planning to go out before, he probably is now. Let's see, he's got a couple seconds
like
to slap the tires on and get out.
Kublai just got disqualified for blocking the pit lane. Wonder what happened there.
Oof, that's always rough. Can be as simple as touching the wall, hitting the brakes, forgetting that you have to or hit the gas when you release the pit limiter. It could be any number of things, but if you wait longer than a few seconds in front of the pit lane, it will immediately disqualify you. Ramrod retired from the session, happy with his lap, decides he is not going to be in the top 10. With the wet race, the tire compound does not matter. It's all about speed at this point. Let's see if Dr. Mick Shorty is able to set a faster time coming into Sector 3 at the moment. Currently on board with Destiel. But Dr. McShorty goes slightly faster with a 1:19.3 up into 9th.
Now some idiot's coming around the last corner and he'll start his final hot lap.
Yep, it'll be Destiel and some idiot, I believe, will be the last to be on flying laps, provided Rogue finishes his flyer here. Rogue goes across the line and is not able to improve unless this is his... Nope, this will be his flying lap. So Rogue is also on his flying lap. Looks like we have Red Hornet on a flyer as well. Getchum into the pits. Decided he is happy with his lap. Getchum locked in at 4th. 3rd locked in at 13th. Ruda locked in at 16th. All other drivers have either retired or are currently on their final flying lap of the race, of this session. Shaby goes 7th fastest with a 1:18.7. Persian King finishes out his lap staying 6th with a 1:18.6. Next across the line will be Dedrum.
It seems like we're having a few connection issues. I think Creamy and Gitchum just dropped out.
Dedrum stays 14th fastest. Stoney improves, I believe, to a 1:18.3.
Some idiot improves his time to take pole position.
1:17.3. Destiel not able to improve. Stays at 1:17.4. Rogue no longer on a flyer. Red Hornet will be the last to cross the finish line with a chance to improve his time. Goes 11th fastest with a 1:19.4. Getchum joined back in. Looks like we are having quite a few connectivity issues, whether that is on the player's end or Codemasters end, that is anyone's guess.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So there you have it. That should be our starting positions. Some idiot goes first. Destiel 2nd. Creamy 3rd. Stoney 4th. Getchum 5th. Dragonbone 6th. Persian King 7th. Rogue 8th. Shaby 9th. Dr. McShorty 10th. Red Hornet 11th. Ramrod 12th. 3rd, 13th. Dedrum 14th. And then Gore 15th. Ruda 16th. Both with qualifying bans will start from the back. And Kubele, with his unfortunate disqualification, will start from 17th. Should be an interesting race, especially with the top two, Some Idiot and Destiel, both having very fast times up in the front of the pack. However, with rain in the forecast, it could be a toss-up. The rain can always play a huge factor in races like this.
It'd be nice if we could see the weather forecast as well.
That would be nice. Maybe someday. Cody's just figured out that we needed a full map. Maybe someday they'll figure out that we want to see what the weather's going to be like in the upcoming sessions. So there you have it. Some Idiot first, Destiel 2nd, Creamy Johns 3rd. Running through the order, already did. Ruda, Gore in the back, of course, and then Kubele starting last with his unfortunate disqualification. There it is.
Pretty hard.
That it is. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but I think you're right. Full wet tires. I don't think this is going to be an intermediate race. We'll see how the weather develops over the course of the race. Of course, Jeff being the main source of information for our drivers during the race. Trusty old Jeff.
Gotta love him.
Gotta love him. Has some good information, has some bad information. So, in the real F1 news, we have some car reveals this week.
Yeah, I think everyone's car is out now.
Yeah, I think at least the livery. Yeah.
Yeah, the livery, yeah.
There are some teams that have not posted any pictures. Everyone on the wet tires going out full wets, no intermediates. Of course, yeah, every team has posted at least one picture. I can't imagine any team has published their full car that they are going to show up with in Australia. Need to keep something secret, and they are still F1. You know, it is a game of strategy and secrecy.
So what's your favorite so far that you've seen?
The favorite one I've seen is the Alpha for sure.
The AlphaTauri?
Yes. No. Alfa Romeo.
Oh, okay.
AlphaTauri was awesome, but I think Alfa Romeo with their heart livery, I don't know if that's what they'll be sticking with for the season, but I sure hope so. The all black with the big red heart on the side.
Yeah, I don't think Renault's going to stick with it. They're all black, but that all black livery is pretty sleek.
Yeah, we've got a lot of really dark liveries on the grid, it seems like, at least starting out. So we'll see who shows up to Australia with what. Yeah, I have a hard time believing Renault is going to completely part with the color yellow. It's so iconic, and they are the only team on the grid currently to have that color.
Yeah. It's very recognizable as a Renault when you see it coming down the track. So
absolutely.
I don't know why they switch away from that, but I do like the mostly black. All right, looks like they're forming up now.
Anon in chat saying Alfa Romeo's snakeskin is just for testing. That is not going to be their full season livery, unfortunately. But yes, it is my favorite as well. All right, as our drivers form up to the grid, we have Gore lagging quite a bit behind the rest of the pack. That will not affect his starting position, though. The AI will drive him right through Kublai and into his starting grid position on 15th. Last driver currently pulling up to grid as Gore. Yep, drives right through the Alpha.
Must have had a little mistake there.
A little bit. It is hard at the slower speeds to keep it on the track, so the lights are on. They are out and away we go. Waiting for Cody's to change the... All right, Destiel up into first. Creamy into second. Stoney into third. Very rainy going down into the first turn here. 3 wide into the first turn for third, fourth, and fifth.
It looks like they all avoided any major contact.
No major contact as of yet. Of course, that could develop as the race goes on. Still 2 wide from the Red Bull and the 2 Mercedes.
Some idiot's going to try up the inside to take back his first spot. Looks like he might make it stick, but we'll see. These 2 are racing hard at the front.
Yes, alongside for Destiel and some idiot. 2 wide. Destiel able to nose it out. Almost gets pushed off the track by the lack of grip from some idiot, but some idiot holds it together, stays in first. All drivers doing a fantastic job on lap 1 here to keep out of any incidents. Gap starting to form between Destiel and some idiot, however, only 7/10. Still very close. Getchum very close to the back of Rogue with only 2/10 gap between the two. Stoney just behind Getchum with 5/10. Creamy just behind him with 5/10. Dragonbone 5/10 as well. Largest gap on the grid currently is Persian King, with the exception of D-Drum back in 17th, is Persian King with 1.4 in 8th place behind Dragonbone in 7th. Ollie's, thanks for joining us. You are just in time for the action.
And Shay's into the pit, so he must have had a little contact somewhere.
Creamy makes the pass on Stoney. TV Pod giving a pretty accurate view of what the drivers are seeing, albeit a little higher than they would be seeing. All the rain. Yellow flag, Sector 1. Looks like a McLaren's gone off. Dr. McShorty had a little bit of a spin. Will drop down to 16th. Hopefully he's able to get it moving again. Getchum very close behind Rogue.
The Industrial's still hanging on to the back of some idiot. Not letting him get away.
Nope, only 8/10 behind. Of course, next time around through the start-finish straight, DRS will be active.
Nope, not in the rain.
All right. DRS does not get activated in the rain. Anon in chat makes a good point. There could be a safety car this race. They, of course, have upped the frequency since the last patch. So it'll be interesting to see how many we get this race, because we've got to get some. Third down to 13th. There we go. Finally getting some interval updates here.
Oh, Nick Shorty crashes as he's trying to go into the pit lane.
McShorty, is he able to recover? Looks like he's able to get it back, but will need a wing.
I think he was coming in for one anyways. Now he definitely needs one.
Yes. Stoney 2/10 or 5/10 behind Dragonbone. Falling back ever so slightly. Drivers' lap times remaining pretty consistent in the rain. Some idiot's been able to put a good amount of distance between himself and Destiel with 1.4 seconds.
Yeah, he is a solid driver.
Oh, and we have a McLaren into the wall and Dragonbone, or sorry, a Williams into the wall and Dragonbone is out of the race.
Oof. Virtual safety car's out.
Virtual safety car. Cars have to slow down to Delta pace. There is a virtual car driving in front of each one of these cars. Each of them have to keep behind it. Ruda, 5-second penalty for corner cutting under the virtual safety car.
And it looked like someone else, I didn't quite catch who, but had another 5-second penalty.
Several 5-second penalties. Of course, in the rain like this, it can be pretty easy to pick them up.
Ramrod got enough for exceeding track limits. Another 5-second. And Ramrod into the pit, so maybe a little contact somewhere.
Potentially decides maybe he needs a little more downforce on his front wing. Turn 9 going into the back straight. Yes, definitely a point where you need to get your traction zone right, especially in the rain. Third, dropping behind, a little bit of a spin from... Who is that? Ramrod.
Red Hornet went way deep
There
on
it
turn
is.
1, put it off, and lost 2 spots to Gore and Ruda.
And we have an Alfa Romeo into the wall of Kublai. Drops down to 12th. Definitely snapped off his wing. Will need a new one.
Yeah, he definitely needs a new wing if he can get to the pit lane.
Ramrod dropping positions. Some close racing from our midfield here. 9th, 10th, and 11th. All within a second and a half of each other.
Looks like Destiel has fallen off a little bit, and Rogue started to catch him.
Sector 2, yellow flag. We have a Haas stopped in the middle of the track of Dedrum. Getchum 8/10 behind Rogue. Rogue getting positioned to potentially make a pass on Destiel. Still a little far back. Won't get it into turn 1. Getchum getting a better line into Rogue into turn 1. Able to close that gap to 6/10. Rogue almost a little bit of a slide out on his way around turn 3.
This is a tricky track for terrain on. There's just those wide, medium speed corners. It's easy to just kind of put the power down too hard, too early, and spin out somewhere.
Rogue running a bit wide. Getchum almost goes all the way around, parked sideways in the middle of the track. Has to do his best. Pirouetting in and out of the cars. Stoney avoiding him. Will stay 6th now. Gaps remaining pretty consistent. Kublai dropping a position to Dedrum. third, 5/10 behind Red Hornet. Yellow flag, sector 1. We have Dedrum on the side of the track. See if he's able to recover.
He's having a rough race.
He is having a rough race. I believe. Yep, he's missing about half of his front wing. Gonna need to pit for another one.
Destiel just puts in a fastest lap of 1:35.
Yellow flag, sector 2, still caused by Dedrum. We'll have to get all the way back around to the pits in order to get a new wing. Gore coming up fast on Persian King. Persian King hoping to avoid an incident like last week with Ruda. He's hoping to make it to the end of the race, let alone finish in the top 10th. Gore, of course, on thin ice with the stewards with a qualifying ban this race.
Yeah, but he's up in 8th, and he's sniffing for 7th right now. He's right up Persian King's gearbox.
Gore just trying to put in some consistent lines, waiting for Persian King to make a mistake. That's what it kind of takes here in the rain with all these medium speed corners. Sooner or later, you've got to hope your opponent makes a mistake, or you have to get the run on an exit, get the traction zone slightly better than them. Gore getting almost sideways out of that corner.
And this is probably one of the best corners to pass here, where Gore's at now.
Yellow flag, sector 3. We've got Dedrum officially with a DNF. Your leader, some idiot, goes down the main straight. Destiel, able to close that gap ever so slightly, is now at 1.3 seconds behind some idiot.
Another fastest lap with a 1:34.9 that time.
Yellow flag staying out for quite a long time in sector 3, but
They're cleared now.
no safety car. Gore will try for the slipstream down the main street here, getting up to Persian King. Both drivers have to do well to keep it out of an accident, and Persian King cedes the position to Gore.
That was a nice pass by Gore.
That was very good. Yeah, he put his car right where he needed to be, made Persian King back off, because both drivers cannot make it around that corner at speed with the differentiation in racing line. Maybe in dry weather, Gore with a little bit of a slide. We'll see if Persian King's able to capitalize on that.
No, and you can see it as you go around the track, just how much water is pooled up off the racing line.
Yeah, and you can see currently on the camera there is a lot of water coming down. As far as I can tell, it is not lightened up at all from the beginning of the race. Drivers will be consulting with Jeff, though, seeing how the weather is going to play out for the rest of the race.
It'd be nice to see it go to dries near the end of the race, just mix things up a little bit.
Would be. You always get an interesting strategy, especially because going on the wets for too long can be detrimental to your race pace, and going on the soft or dry tires too early can also have the same effect. So drivers have to pick the exact right moment.
It's like Destiel had a 3-second penalty for corner cutting.
Destiel loses that time on some idiot. So Rogue effectively 1 second behind Destiel and not a second more.
Destiel's putting on time to some idiot right now. Looking to make a move on him in the next couple laps, it looks like.
Gore also pulling away from Persian King. Some idiot remaining deadly consistent, but as you can see on screen, Destiel has a full battery of DRS charge. Just waiting for the right time to use it. If you use it too early out of a traction zone, you can lose traction. Although you have to believe with this much ERS stored up, sitting at 0, he's got to be wasting some lap race pace.
Yeah, I think he's losing a little potential here.
Anand, to answer your question about the Tier 2, yellow flag, Sector 2, no major incidents as far as I can tell. So Anand, back to your question about the PC Tier 2 grid being full. No, the grid is not full. We hardly ever have a completely full grid of assigned drivers.
Yeah, usually I think the assigned drivers are all full, but usually the couple reserves get in every race.
Yeah, we have 20 drivers assigned total, 2 for each of the 10 teams. However, getting all 20 drivers to race every week is typically a struggle, so we pull in a few reserves. However, Tier 2 has had some pretty full races while pulling in the reserves. We've got pretty available. So, Anon, if you're looking to get yourself on that list, go ahead. We'll put the Discord link in the chat later on. Of course, follow us on Twitter as well. We have got the link on there. I think it's on our YouTube channel as well.
And I know, what was I going to say? Oh, last week we had more racers than the D1 race did at Baku.
That's right. Any race with a street track like that seems to be short on racers. Some racers never saying it, but preferring to sit out rather than hit a wall. Of course, we've got drivers with other obligations as well. But yes, D2 had, I believe it was 18 or 19 drivers, and D1 showed up with 15 last week. Deathsteel slowly clawing back time lap after lap, only 6/10 behind Some Idiot as Some Idiot runs wide.
Yes, and he's been struggling in the last corner, Some Idiot has. I think the last 2 times he's had a little bit of a slide, and that's where Deathsteel's been putting a lot of time on him. He's coming out of that last corner.
Yeah, the tires have got to be getting worn on Some Idiot's car. Potentially a little bit of the rain affecting it as well. Of course, that always plays a factor. There's that exit out of the last turn. Both drivers seem to get a pretty clean exit. Anon asking if the reserves in any given tier are connected with a specific team or if they can fill in for anyone. They can fill in for anyone, so as long as there is a spot open and a reserve is online, connected, ready to race, they will get pulled in. So the way the points systems work is only drivers that are considered full-time for a team will score points for that team. And then any points that a driver scores on their own will remain their own through the whole Drivers' Championship. So for example, Some Idiot, race 1 in Australia, got pole position and fastest lap, scored 26 points. However, he is on the reserve list, so he only scored those 26 points for himself and did not score them for the team he was on at the time, which is Racing Point. Of course, you can see this week he is filling in for a Haas team member. Will not score the points for Haas team, however, will get to take any points home as his own in the Drivers' Championship.
Do we have a link to Discord as well in the section?
We do. Typically, that's something Nightbot takes care of.
Okay.
However, I believe it's Capita that normally runs the Nightbot.
Makes sense.
So
he's out of town. But yeah, Anon, if you want to join the reserve list, just join the Discord and someone there will help you get to where you need to be.
Let's see if Nightbot's listening to our commands. There we go.
Hey.
So, let's give that one a shot. There it is. There's the Discord link. Thanks, Nightbot. Always a bro.
Always there to help.
Of course, our D1 are no assist, including no racing line. D2's assists, D2 and D3's assists are allowed. Getchum sticking to the back of Stoney, not letting him gain any distance. Deathsteel dropping back ever so slightly, now has a 1 second gap between himself and Some Idiot. Rain coming down as hard as ever.
Ed does not seem to want to lighten up for this race.
Shaby, Ramrod, Dr. McShorty, and Kubale have all made one stop. Destio with a little bit of a mistake, dropping back to 1.5 seconds between himself and some idiot.
Yeah, it's real easy to make a mistake on a day like today.
4 more laps and we will be at the halfway point.
And I imagine if it's going to rain the whole race, that's when we're going to see most of our pits. I think these should be an easy one stop with the wets. Usually the wets have pretty good life.
I imagine every driver on the grid is consistently talking with Jeff, trying to figure out when the rain is going to stop, if it's going to stop, and is going to try and push the wets as far as they can go if they're looking to switch to dries. If this is going to be like this for the rest of the race, I imagine the wets are where they're going to stay. However, as you can see, the racing line drying out ever so slightly, we might get a driver that is brave and tries to switch to the intermediates.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. And I don't know what Jeff is saying on the radio. The intermediate might be good tires in a couple laps here, so.
Could be if the racing line dries out or the rain lets up ever so slightly, the intermediates could be a very good choice for some of our racers.
Looks like some idiots finally come up on the back of the pack, lapping Kublai now.
And Kublai doing well to stay out of the way of the front runners, not wanting to get in anyone's way.
Ruin a race, yeah.
Right.
That's never what you want to see.
Always a disappointing feeling.
Pull a knock on.
Getchum losing some time to Stoney, getting a little bit sideways.
It looks like Ramrod with another 5-second penalty. I think that's 2 for him now.
A 5-second penalty. Was that for pits?
It said exceeding track limit, so maybe a really bad corner cutting.
That could be. The game, of course, always reserves the right to slap you with an immediate 5-second time penalty if you cut a corner extremely, what it deems to be extremely bad. Otherwise, you get 3 warnings, and at the end of your 3rd warning, Rogue fishtailing out of the corner, allowing Creamy to make up some ground, only 2/10 behind Rogue at the moment.
What were you saying about warnings?
Typically, the game, you get 3 warnings on corner cutting before you get a 3-second time penalty. However, you could always pick one up right away if the game determines a significant time advantage was gained around one corner, which it seems like that's what happened to Ramrod. However, we'll have to wait to find out.
And these front two seem like they're gonna kind of battle it out and stay close all race here. Deschio's just not giving up, staying pretty much within a second of some idiot.
Yeah, pit strategy is going to be important for the top 2 with only a second interval. Creamy starting to see the wear on his tires, getting a little bit sideways coming out of turn 9. Or turn 8 into turn 9. Yellow flag in sector 3. We have Kublai turned around on the side of the track. Has to make a safe re-entry. Whew, could have been close over there.
Oh, maybe he had to take avoiding action on Kublai.
Could be.
Because he lost like 0.2 of a second, 0.4 of a second maybe to Deschio.
Creamy falling back. Gap is now 1.3 with Creamy in 4th and Rogue in 3rd. Kublai 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings as we were talking about. Some idiot running a little bit wider line, however not having to turn quite as hard. Could be saving some of his tires in the rain. Destiel making up a little bit of time, coming into turn 7.
And McShorty just letting them by.
Yep, good call from McShorty. Yellow flag, sector 1. Kublai off the side again.
And it doesn't look like he's missing any front wings, or any of his front wings. So I wonder if maybe the last spin just heated up his tires too much.
Potentially could be tire heat, or he's trying to push his tires. He's trying to push his tires extra hard because he maybe sees a lack of rain in the forecast. Kublai, easy on those tires, bud.
Oh, Destiel into the pits.
Destiel going to try for the undercut. We'll see how some idiot responds. Destiel able to get it down to pit lane speed before the pit. Into the pits, going with another set of wets, likely to take those to the end of the race. So that tells me he's hearing from Jeff, rain for the rest of the race. We'll see how the rest of the drivers respond. Sector 2, Kublai goes around again and retires or hits a wall. A DNF for Kublai.
Looks like
Virtual.
He hit the wall. There's
Safety car out
oh,
on
I
track.
don't think that's good for Destiel. I don't know if some idiot's going to be close enough to pit or not, but
We'll see right now. It is good for Rogue. No, Ruda into the pits and Persian King both into the pits, both gaining significant time. We have Red Hornet now into the pits as well. Shea B will be coming around the last corner, I imagine, as the virtual safety car is ending.
yeah, and this is going to work out nicely for the guys that were close to the pits.
Shea B deciding to pit, gaining a little bit of a time advantage. So, for the uninitiated, what is happening here is a pit stop normally takes around somewhere between 26 to 30 seconds without a wing change. If a virtual safety car is out, everyone else on the track has to go relatively slowly compared to race pace. So, it turns what would normally be a 26 to 30 second loss into potentially a 10 to 15 second loss. Can play a big part in the strategies. Of course, different rules apply if a full safety car is deployed, which we may see before the end of the race. We are just at the halfway point.
Some idiot into the pit, so let's see if Destiel did enough to get by him here. Safety car might have ruined his strategy a little bit. Couldn't really put in a fast lap, but we'll see if he's still going to get out in front of him here.
Rogue and Creamy Johns both into the pits, deciding it is time to change their tires. Destiel up into second, is going to pass some idiot. The virtual safety car was enough.
It was, and by quite a bit. 2 seconds.
Yeah, some idiot now is 2 seconds to make up on Destiel. The rest of the pack is still going to be trailing relatively far behind. So Rogue now has made a pit. Creamy made a pit as well. Stoney in the pits, Getchum in the pits, and Gore in the pits. Imagine the drivers will be exiting in close to that order.
But remember, Destiel does have a 3-second time penalty, so he's going to have to spread that gap out a little bit to some idiot if he wants to win the race.
Yes, Destiel has
I don't
got
think
up.
he served it in the pits.
Put the pedal down. Let's see how many stops each driver has done. Shea B, the only driver with 2 stops. Every other driver has done 1 stop. So, provided rain continues for the rest of the race, which the call of tire wets for everyone leads me to believe the rain is going to be sticking around at least for another 10 laps. We might see a tire change towards the end, but it's certainly raining hard enough that it warrants staying on the wet tires. Destiel able to put a little bit of time on some idiot, currently at 2.3 seconds behind Destiel. Gore currently up 8 positions. Ruda up 7 positions. Both drivers had a qualifying ban, had to start at the back. Rogue doing very well, bringing himself up 5 positions into third. Some idiot falling down to second off of pole, fishtailing there a little bit out of turn 2. What? Oh yeah, that was turn 2 into turn 3. Now he's into turn 4. There we go.
Gidsham is on the back of Stoney. About 0.3 of a second, 0.4 of a second behind.
As you can see, the gaps will develop and fall away very quickly in a race like this. All it takes is a little bit of a slide out in a traction zone to lose upwards of 1 second to your opponent behind. Creamy only 9 cents behind Rogue at the moment. Up to 1 second behind Rogue. Still remaining relatively close.
It looks like Gitcham wants to have a look into turn 9 here. Nope, thinks better of it.
Correction, that was turn 10. Now they're coming around at turn 12 at the moment. Yeah. Turn 13, a nice right-hander. Both drivers keeping it together. The chicane, always tougher in the rain.
Yeah, that's a tricky chicane as it is.
Yeah, always hard to keep the car settled through any chicane, let alone one that has gradient changes like that. Even tougher in the rain. Creamy Johns, 0.4 behind Ruda. Behind Rogue, excuse me. Our 6th and 5th place battle, very close, as well as our 4th and 3rd place battle. Some idiot falling behind Destiel now, 3.1 seconds. Turns out that pit may have sealed the deal for Destiel. He just has to keep it clean for the rest of the race and outpace some idiot. Stoney running a little bit wide. Stoney running a little bit wide. Getchum going to take advantage of that, pulling alongside, not able to make the pass into that turn. Maybe gets a little bit of bump on the wheel. Hopefully it did not sustain any wing damage. Getchum not giving up though, staying just behind Stoney. Getchum down the straight, looking to take full advantage of that slipstream. Goes down the inside, gonna go too wide into turn 1. Stoney has to go a little bit wide and cede the position, but still remains alongside Getchum. Getchum pulls out ahead into turn 3.
To me, it seems like Gitcham has just had the pace on him, and he's just been looking for a spot to pass. So we'll see if he can't put some time on him now.
Yeah, Getchum already has 0.6 on Stoney. Now 10 seconds to go to track down his teammate in 4th. Right now looking like a top 5 finish for Mercedes.
Yeah, that'd be a good finish for them, especially with Ferrari 3rd and 9th right now.
Yeah, that would be very good. Rogue and Ruda, of course, both full-time drivers. Creamy and Getchum, both full-time drivers as well. Some Idiot and Destiel, both reserves, will take home points for themselves, but will not garner any points for Renault and Haas.
Yeah, and their Mercedes is close with Renault right now, aren't they?
Yes,
in the constructors. So yeah, that'll.
Yeah, I don't have that in front of me.
So that'll be good for them too, with Destiel not being on the reserve list. Destiel seems to be running away now, almost 5 seconds in front of some idiot.
Yeah, if Destiel can keep it together, he's looking good to take pole position this race. Creamy closing the gap ever so slightly to Rogue is now 8 tenths behind Rogue. The exit of turn 3, Rogue gets a significantly better exit. Creamy falls back to a second behind. If you like what you see here and want to be a part of the action either on the track or in the announcer's booth, please join the Discord, introduce yourself, say what you'd like to do. We have 5 total race leagues: Xbox Division 1 no assist, Xbox Division 2 and Division 3, PC Division 1 no assist, and PC Division 2. Racing on various nights of the week. We race on Tuesdays at 2 different times, in case one doesn't work for you, Fridays, Mondays, and Wednesdays. Action going pretty much all week, and now we've just started our King of the Grid series. Gore, only 5 seconds behind Stoney. We'll tune in to that.
And I think we're still looking for a commentator for Xbox Division 3, so if you're interested in doing that, and you have a copy of F1 for Xbox, let us know.
Yep, Xbox Division 3 races at 9 p.m. Eastern Time.
Isn't that on Wednesdays? Or is that? Or no, they're on Tuesdays, aren't they?
Yes. PCD2 is Wednesdays.
Yeah, right. We race on Wednesday nights.
Right, you and I race. So Gore looking to come up behind Stoney, gets a little bit of a slide in the traction zone. Gap remaining at 3 tenths behind Stoney. Stoney doing well to close the gap to Getcham as well, now only 2.7 seconds behind Getcham.
Oh, sorry. Xbox D3 is on Fridays.
Yes.
Not on Tuesdays. Division 1 and 2 are on Tuesdays.
Yes. Gore gonna try down the inside. On turn 3, does not make it. Not turn 3.
Big slide though, and it looks like Gore's gonna slip right past him.
Gore is going to take that position and say thank you. See how much time Persian King is able to make up. Stoney, looks like he came off not terribly bad, only 1.2 seconds behind Gore, but still going to have to fight to get that time back.
And I don't know what happened to some idiot, but Destiel just at the second half of this race is running away. It didn't seem like some idiot was holding him up in the first stint, but I don't know.
Yeah, there was a healthy gap between Destiel and some idiot before the pits. It was about 2 second gap. Some idiot being in first, Destiel being in second, and now the tables are turned. Destiel is able to put the pedal to the metal and put almost 6 seconds now on some idiot with only 10 laps to go in this race.
Yeah, and some idiot only needs to recover 3 seconds if he wants to win, but I think he'd like to win it on track if he could.
That's right. Destiel, of course, with his 3 second time penalty. Destiel, another 3 second time penalty. Effectively, some idiot is only 0.4 seconds behind Destiel at the moment. Some idiot, a little bit of a lockup that's going to allow him to drop back further behind Destiel, 6.5 seconds. However, with time penalties taken into consideration, some idiot is 7 tenths behind Destiel.
Ooh, and some idiot just avoids a spin there.
Creamy trying to track down Rogue with 1.4 seconds behind. Gore in 6th trying to track down Getchum in 5th. 1.4 seconds behind as well. All drivers seeming to have figured out where the limits are in the rain. A little bit of slipping and sliding going on, but we have not seen a spin in a while. Gore going to go down the outside as... was that? 3rd, moves aside, allows him by. Gore able to close the gap to Getchum ever so slightly, now 1.2 seconds behind Getchum.
And Anand says he's excited for Zandvoort and Hanoi in the next year's edition of the game. What do you think?
I'm excited for Zandvoort in real life. I think that game, or that track, is going to be awesome. Sector 3, yellow flag. We have Red Hornet off the side, dropping positions down to 11th.
Yeah, I think Hanoi is going to be kind of crazy with those 3 long straights. I think it is. Seems like most of the, almost like Monza, but with different turns at the end of the long straights there.
Yes, I see Zandvoort going a few different ways. Of course, anything could happen. It is Formula One, but that will be the first year of the new regulations. So aero package will be a little bit less of a factor. Gearbox will be a little less of a factor. So it comes down to that point, the engine and suspension. And of course, hairpins after long straight, suspension is very important. Brakes are important. And then down the main straight, your engine is very important as well. So I think it's either going to be, really good racing, or it's going to be really bad racing. The engines may differentiate the field enough that we have a bunch of either Mercedes, Hondas, whatever you want to call it. One of the engine manufacturers way out ahead with the others trailing behind.
Yeah, I don't think that the engine spec isn't changing all that much, though, for the new season. I don't think. I think it's going to be pretty much the same engine, if I remember right, for the 2020 season.
Yes, but Zandvoort is not going to be on the calendar until 2021, correct?
And 2021, I thought.
I thought it was in the 2020 game in the 2021 F1 calendar, but we'll have to check on that.
No, I mean, I think they're using the same power units for 2021 as well.
Oh, I see. Yes. I believe that's correct. Gore getting a little bit throttle happy, sliding out on the exit of turn 3. Just a little bit into turn 4, going ever so slightly sideways. Ruda coming up like Jaws on a boat to Persian King. We'll see if we have a repeat of last week, or if Persian King is going to hold a grudge and make Ruda's life pretty difficult here. Yep, that's my hot take. You heard it here first. Zandvoort, either really good or really bad. Nowhere in between. I just think there's not much room for anything in the middle with the long straights, but we will see. So the engines, yes, in theory, should continue to develop and get better and better. It seems like a lot of teams in this off-season focused on the envelope of their engine. A lot of the bodies getting a lot slimmer. A lot of the noses changing some geometry, but of course we haven't seen anything terribly large out of any of the teams yet.
No, and I think especially some of the bigger teams might be thinking more about, maybe not more, but almost the same amount about 2021 and not wanting to, sink their entire thought process into this year's car when it's kind of just an extension of last year's, and 2021 is this whole new concept. Oh, Creamy up into third past Rogue.
Oh, Rogue down to 1.3. Must have been quite the mistake from Rogue. Potentially got held up by Ramrod. We might see that in the incident reports later. Yes, it does appear. Mitch with the correction. Zandvoort on the calendar for 2020, so we will get to see some Zandvoort action.
He thinks it's going to be Spain 2.0. A lot of following, not too much passing. We'll see.
I was thinking, yes, I remain corrected. I was thinking of the Vietnam Grand Prix that is going to be new this year with the Hanoi Street Circuit. That has an insane amount of straights. We have a yellow flag. Sector 2, we have Ramrod off the side of the track. So I stand corrected. Hanoi is what I was thinking of. Zandvoort, I think with that insane turn, we're going to see some good action there.
Yeah, I really hope so. It'll be nice to see a bank turn in F1 again.
Yeah, let's hope it just doesn't end like the last banked turn did at Daytona?
No, Indy.
Indy, that's what it was. Of course, the tire manufacturers missing the calculations on that race, and it was a tire fiasco. The good thing about this year is everyone is on the same compound of tire. It is Pirelli, of course, is the universal tire supplier. So they will have either everyone's going to make it around or everyone's going to not make it around, I suppose.
Yeah, and I think they'll be ready. Pirelli's been pretty good.
Sector 3, yellow flag from Ramrod. Looks like dealing with tire temperature issues potentially.
And it looks like Dr. McShorty's going to try and hang on to these 25 laps on a set of wets right now. I don't know how long the wets are scheduled to go, but
at this point he has more than a pit stop behind Ramrod and is currently not making up any time on third. I guess it all depends. Well, he's only 1.6 seconds behind
Ramrod with the DNF. It's like he just went into the pits and retired.
Yeah, of course, proper etiquette there. Go into the pits if you're going to retire. Do not retire on track. Of course, we saw that from Ruda last week, which that in combination with taking out Persian King led to a qualifying ban. Of course, the Chinese Grand Prix, of course, for the next 2020 season is postponed. Ramrod, the AI decides, to drive him right back out onto the track. Not really Ramrod's fault in this case. Let's hope the AI doesn't ruin it for anyone.
I think the AI might ghost, but I could be wrong.
I sure hope so. Ruda getting 8/10 behind Persian King, running a little bit wide, dropping back to a second.
Even if ghosting is turned off, the AI might ghost when it's controlling a human.
Rogue with a 3-second time penalty from multiple warnings. Going to make that pass on Creamy Johns that much harder. Mitch, I have not heard of the Vietnam Grand Prix getting canceled or postponed currently. Feel free to share your thoughts as to why that might not happen. Of course, the coronavirus postponing the Chinese Grand Prix at the very least. Last I had heard, it was potentially getting pushed back to the second to last race. We have a McLaren just after turn 9 has gone around of Dr. McShorty, now a DNF. Virtual safety car out on track. Doesn't look like, I don't think any of the drivers has any reason to take advantage of this pit, except for maybe Destiel, who has already passed the pits at this point. Yeah, I don't think he's on the same tires as some idiot, unless Destiel really feels his tires are starting to wear.
Don't he get a drive-through for speeding under the virtual safety car? That's rough.
That is rough.
Hopefully, it doesn't knock him down too much, but I think it's going to put him in at least 9.
Ooh, Cheesy Train throwing shade in the chat saying Capita's so bad he does not show up. We are told Capita is in the middle of an overseas trip, so cannot bring his desktop with him. Stoney into the pits. Potentially needs a new wing.
I think he might just need to commit a little bit more to this racing league if he's not going to bring his desktop with him across the ocean.
Mitch says coronavirus could potentially affect Vietnam as well. Of course, they're continuing monitoring. Yellow flag, sector 2. Ruda diving down on Persian King. Persian King has got to be leery of the driver that's behind him. He has got to be seeing flashbacks from last week. Let's hope we do not have a repeat. Ruda takes a similar inside line. Persian King giving him a little bit of space, but once he realizes he's able to, comes back across to the apex. Ruda a little bit of a lockup, hoping ever so desperately not to touch the back of Persian King. Ruda knowing he's on extremely thin ice with the stewards, and if he is to take out especially the same driver 2 laps in a row, Persian King...
This is where he's going to make his move. If he's going to make it, I think it's got to be into that turn.
A little bit of a tap on Persian King. Persian King's certainly not going to be happy about that, but Ruda cannot keep it together on the exit. Spins out, might get overtaken by Stoney as well.
It looked like there was a little bit of contact there on the exit, too, between Persian and Ruda.
There definitely was a little bit of contact. Ruda, of course, came off worse, being the trailing car, and it stays the trailing car.
I think he'll have one more chance, though, on this last lap if he can keep it together. Maybe not. Looks like Persian King is pulling off.
Now, Ruda falling quite a bit far behind. Stoney coming back up on the Ruda. That mistake could have cost him. Ruda may be missing a part of wing after that contact with Persian King. Hard to tell, but his tires are definitely not the temperature they normally are.
The wing looks good for the most part. I don't see any major damage.
Destiel sets a fastest lap time with a 1:33.3, just showing off at this point. On to his final lap.
Yeah, and he was hooked up through the last part of this race. He just flew away from some idiot. I thought we were going to see a lot better race between those two.
Could be wrong, but this may not be the final lap for Ruda and Persian King. I think they have to cross the finish line twice more. I could be wrong about that. But because Destiel does not have the checkered flag next to his name, he has not finished the race yet.
Nope, he's on his last lap.
Gotcha. So Destiel, the only car. Destiel, some idiot. Creamy John's. Rogue. Getchum now.
Right now.
Yep, Gore is on his last lap as well. So, most cars on their last lap at this point. Persian King will be the next to go on to his last lap. Ruda closing that gap to 0.8 of a second. Going to get desperate in the last lap of the race here. Has to do his best to keep it out of Persian King.
Yeah, but he's going to, if he keeps it close, he's going to have another shot at him down to that corner. He's going to go for it, knowing Ruda.
Oh, yeah. Ruda never one to leave points on the table. Goes a little wide down turn one. Needs to keep it close enough to Persian King to try and pass.
That's going to hurt.
Potentially down the back straight. But, yes, 1 second is a lot to make up in one
Deshiel
lap.
with the race win unless penalties say otherwise, but I think he's far enough ahead of some idiot.
Cheesy Train, I don't know how Creamy John's is allowed as a name, but we have Nuke North Korea in PCD2, so I guess it's all... Everything's okay in PPR. We have not cracked down on any names yet. I could see it coming in the future. Some idiot crosses the line, goes second. Red Hornet finished the race, of course, getting lapped, crossing the line. The game says his race is done. Ruda slide out on the straight, has to do his best to wrestle the car back. Needs to make sure he doesn't lose his position to Stoney.
Rogue lucky to get across the line there. Had a little almost running with third.
Rogue across the line, Getchum across the line, Gore across the line. Ruda now still 9/10 behind Persian King. We'll see if he tries for a full send going into one of the last 3 corners here. Just straight up cuts the corner, decides he needs the little bit of extra help, can spend one of his multiple warnings, chases Persian King down, but I do not believe he is going to get him down the straight. Ruda finishing 8th, Stoney 9th, and Shea B 10th. Good racing from all of the drivers today.
And we'll see if we can get any of our reserves into the lobby for an interview afterwards here, but I don't think we did one for the first race, did we? In Australia? I don't remember.
Oh, some idiot. I can't remember. Can't remember what interviews we did. Yeah, we'll see if the reserves are added to the corresponding channels. We'll go ahead and try and get in the room with our top 3 drivers. Congratulations to them. Always exciting to see this kind of racing, especially in the rain. You've always got some good racing out of that. And we did have some spins. I don't think we had any major incidents, which you always like to see. Each driver having to hold their own. So Destiel ended up with 9 seconds worth of time penalties. Still finishes 7 seconds ahead of some idiot. Creamy Johns had a 3-second time penalty. So he finishes 3rd. Rogue finishes 4th with his 3-second time penalty. Getchum into 5th. Gore into 6th. Persian King into 7th. Ruda into 8th. Stoney 9th, Shaby 10th, and that rounds out our points. Behind them, starting at 11th, we have Red Hornet. 3rd, Dr. McShorty, Ramrod, Kublai, D-Drum, and Dragonbone. 4, 5 DNFs this race with Dr. McShorty, Ramrod, Kublai, and D-Drum. Let's go ahead and go to the Discord, see if we can't get any of our drivers into the winner's circle.
Alright, I'm going to hop on over to the interview room.
I'll meet you over there. Ah, that's the wrong post-race card again. Never update that one. I always forget that one. So, here we are in the interview room waiting for any of our podium finishers to enter at this point. There we go. I'll take that one. Nope. Right.
Yeah, not quite as crazy of a race as last week, but still a good race.
Yeah, still a really good race from all of our drivers. Able to keep it clean, keep it together for the most part. A little bit of bumping, a little bit of moving, a little bit of sliding, a little bit of sloshing. But overall,
a little
not
bit's
too bad.
okay.
Yeah, absolutely. You like to see that. Destiel in chat watching the stream. Destiel, if you can get into the interview room, we'd love to have a word with you. See what you thought about that race. Desiel, welcome. Congratulations
Hello.
on the first place finish.
Thanks.
So, first race with PPR, at least this PCD1, is that correct?
Yep.
Fantastic. Do you race in any other racing leagues, PPR or otherwise?
Yeah, I have 3 other leagues.
Oh, nice. All right. So, quite an experienced driver. So, normally, how is Spain for you? Is it one of your stronger tracks?
No, it's like one of my weakest tracks as my rears keep sliding a lot.
And certainly the rain does not help with that at all.
Yeah. In the first stint, when the fuel load was heavy, I couldn't keep the car on track. Like,
Yeah, it's definitely hard with the heavier fuel to change your momentum, especially around all of the hairpins in Spain. So we noticed in the first stint of tires, you were trailing some idiot by about 2 seconds, and then after the virtual safety car pit, you just started running away with the race. What happened? Why do you think that gap increased so much after the pit stop?
well, I just felt more confident on the second stint because of fresh tires,
Hmm.
and yeah, I just built my pace after that.
Yeah, well, it showed. You were able to get, despite the 9 seconds worth of time penalties, you were able to increase that gap way out ahead of some idiot for the win. So, any closing thoughts on Spain?
Uh, never drove Spain in the rain before, so this is the first time.
All right. Well, how is that for a first
Nice
time?
race,
A
man.
win for your first
It
time? Yeah,
was it was disastrous. My foot hurt so bad from braking. Like,
pretty much riding the brake the whole time, and then, of course, being
yeah.
careful not to hit the throttle too much.
Yeah.
Well, fantastic. Desiel, thank you for joining us. Congratulations on your first place win. Have a great rest of your night.
Okay, thank you.
Great race, man.
Or morning, I suppose. All right, so let's go ahead and try and get some idiot in here, get his thoughts on race pace, tire strategy, all of the above. So congratulations to all racers on making it to the end of the race, with the exception of the 5 that had the DNF, but we didn't see any major crashes like we normally see. All right, while we're waiting for some idiot, next week, the legendary Monaco. Cosmo, are you excited?
We'll talk about that in a moment.
Oh, some idiot. He's joined us. Some idiot, congratulations on the second place finish.
I don't know. I don't know. I felt like I missed the setup today. I'm just kind of disappointed a little bit. Actually, I'm a little bit happy because I don't know if anyone watched Daytona 500, but there was this huge accident right at the end, and I finally heard some good news about that crash. So that kind of takes precedence a little bit over this, but kind of happy to hear some good news on driver.
That's fair. What driver in particular were you watching out for?
Ryan Newman. He had a huge accident right at the end of the race. He was one of the hardest crashes I've ever seen live. Almost
Oof.
up there with Robert Wickens' crash.
Right. Well, good. I'm glad that we were able to receive some good news about him. Of course, the virtual racing league is fun and all, but of course, yeah, is superseded by the real life events of some of the racing drivers in the NASCAR circuit, F1, and otherwise.
Yes, sir.
So, going back to the race tonight in Spain. Spain in the rain. It seemed like you had pretty good pace in the first half, but then second half, Destiel was able to just run away with it. Why do you think that was?
For me, I full credit to him. Complete full credit to him. He looked absolutely fantastic.
Yeah,
Even
ran a
when
great race.
even when he was behind me in the first stint, I kind of had in the back of my mind, if he gets ahead of me, he's gone, because it looked like I've noticed 3 or 4 times where he'd fall back, he'd have a huge moment, fall back, and then just claw right back up to me again. And I was driving about as hard as I could without trying to crash it. And in the second stint, once he jumped me after the VSC, he managed to get some clean air, and he just made it work. That's complete credit to him.
Mm.
I tried as hard as I could. I mean, I don't know how much you're watching me in the second stint, but I had huge moments, like 3 or 4 times, just trying to get the car to do something more, because I thought maybe I'm not driving it hard enough. But every time I'd push it, it would just overheat and snap, and I'd have to chase it really, really hard.
Yeah, we
And I
noticed some of the jumps in the gap, but that makes sense. Is yeah, you can't make up any time. Just keep doing what you're doing if the gap's increasing.
Yeah, I knew he was picking up penalties, and I was thinking, okay, he's at 6, now he's at 9. Can I stay with that? And every time, it's like he'd just pick up another gear and go faster, and it's just crazy to me. I mean, I feel like maybe I just missed the setup somewhere, but I don't know. I didn't feel like I missed it by that much. It's just complete credit to Destiel for excellent job he did.
No, absolutely. If you had to change something on your setup, what do you think you would have changed?
So first thing I noticed, and I basically like did a face palm, is I had the suspension way too soft. I knew that was going to cause me some oversteer. Because it's like when you drop stiffness of the front suspension, you're going to add a little bit more oversteer to the car, and I definitely would have changed that because I was just too oversteery, middle exit. And that was the first thing I would have done. Second thing I might have done is drop my tire pressures a little bit because I was having these overheating issues with the car. It's like every time I get slightly sideways, I'd overheat both the fronts and rears, and I don't think that was happening for him. So he definitely did a good job of both setup and driving to be able to drive like he was. So that's just two things I'd say off the top of my head.
Yeah, it seems like Destiel had a phenomenal race. The race, you weren't the only one dealing with the warm tires, though. It seemed like anytime someone got slightly sideways, it was never an isolated incident. Their tires heated up, and next turn they were just off the side of the track again. So you were not alone there, even though Destiel seemed to circumvent that pretty well.
And like I said, complete credit to him. He did an excellent job. 100% earned the win. I definitely had, like I said, back in my mind, I was thinking he gets ahead, he's gone. He was flying even behind me. So credit to him.
Yep, absolutely. Great race from both of you, though.
Great
Some
race,
nice,
man.
clean racing. We like to see that. So thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you in Monaco next week.
I don't think I'll be in Monaco. I'm a reserve driver. Next race for me will probably be Paul Ricard. Paul Ricard 3 weeks from now.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you,
We'll
thank
see
you
you then.
regardless,
Have a good
though.
night, man.
Yeah, have a good night.
All right, you too.
Thanks. Bye.
See ya.
All right, let's see if we can't talk to our third place driver, which I believe was
Creamy Johns, I
Creamy
think.
Johns. Let's take a look. Yeah, great race from everyone. Oh, Cream, welcome. You are on stream, so keep it clean.
I'll do my best.
Congratulations on your third place finish.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
So, tire strategy seemed to be pretty consistent across the field. However, the gap between just to some idiot and both Destiel, they seem to be light years just ahead of the rest of the pack. What do you think happened there?
Well, I know some idiot is just really consistent and overall probably about a half a second faster than me. Like towards the end of the race, we were about the same pace, but it was obviously too late then. So, and Destiel, I have no idea. Never seen him before, so.
Yeah, it was kind of a surprise to all of us with that. Just had it.
Well, I knew he was quick because of 5 lappers in 2018, but this is the first time I've seen him in like a 50% race. So.
Sure. So yeah, the 50% of course can weed out just the fast from those that are fast and consistent. Of course, yourself being among the top fast and consistent in this league. With Spain, is that typically a strong track for you?
Not really, no. Especially when I do like maybe 15 laps before, and don't have a setup nailed down and everything. It was, I mean, I guess since it rained, it didn't really matter too much. But no, it's one of my weaker ones usually.
Sure. Yeah. Well, the rain can definitely throw a wrench in everyone's strategy.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm just looking forward to Monaco now. So.
Yeah, Monaco next week. High hopes for that one.
It is one of my better ones, so I guess if I qualify well, there's a good chance. So we'll see.
Yeah, qualifying on tight street tracks like that always seems to be key. Just like Azerbaijan, if you get caught behind the pack, there's always a good chance you can get caught in an incident.
Yeah, there's no place to overtake, so pretty much qualifying is going to decide it usually. So yeah, We'll see what happens.
All right, well, good luck to you next week. We will see you there, and congratulations on your third place finish.
That's good. Thanks, boys.
Have a good night, man.
Good night.
Yeah.
All right, Cosmo, looking ahead to Monaco. I'm excited. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's always a track where all the drivers are right on the edge, and probably see quite a few incidents next week, I think.
Yep, hopefully we will be able to see everyone that showed up to the stream tonight there as well. So in the meantime, go ahead, hit that like button on the stream if you liked what I saw. Join the Discord. The link is in the chat. Come join us either on the track or in the booth. We'd love to hear from you. This has been Race 5 at Catalonia, Spain. I'm Kermit. Go ahead and follow me at twitter.com/CedarGaming or follow me on twitch.tv/Cedar Street Gaming. And of course, you can always reach Cosmo at twitter.com/Cosmo PPR. Of course, don't forget our other racing leagues. We've got Xbox D1 Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern, Xbox D2 at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, Xbox D3 at Fridays 9 p.m. Eastern, PC D1 Mondays 9 p.m. Eastern, and PC D2 Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern. We'd love to see everyone in the chat at one of those races. Come join us, come hang out, talk about strategies, talk about upcoming F1. Of course, now we are starting to ramp up into the main season. Drive to Survive is less than 2 weeks away from release. Always an exciting point of the season.
And Australia is less than a month away.
Of course, that is always an exciting point. Ready for the lights to go out at Australia. Well, congratulations to all our racers tonight. And this has been Pole Position Racing. I am Kermit.
And I'm Cosmo.
All right, we'll see everyone next week at Monaco.
Have a good night, everyone.